Bradley W. Skinner is an educational thought leader, educator, former administrator, playwright, perspective giving speaker, and an expert in school culture and climate. He is known for his quick wit, creative thought, and humorous personality. Bradley was recognized as the 2018 Wyoming Theater Director of the Year, the current District Teacher of the Year, and in summer of 2019, Bradley was honored by the Jostens Company as their National Educator of the Year. Bradley is the host of the Stark Realization podcast and co-host of the web series The Empower Half Hour, both focusing on current trends and best practices in the world of education. And Bradley recently added movie producer to his resume with his first film hitting theaters later this summer. Bradley openly shares his knowledge, experiences, and creativity with others. He currently speaks to students, staff, and communities throughout the country about how to think differently about schools, education, and life. Focusing on positive school culture and climate, determination, grit, and social-emotional learning. Walker of the road to awesome, lover of family and friends, and believer in the power of the word yet. And a stark contrast to your typical educational speaker, this is Bradley W. Skinner.
First, let me say congratulations to those graduating seniors. You're going to go on and do amazing things, so great work. Well, let me start by telling you a little story. In 1982, I moved from the thriving metropolis of Southern California to a tiny rural community in central Utah. Now, life was pretty different there. Students made fun of the different way I talked, I dressed differently, I even listened to different music. It was just different. Now, the first kid my age that I met ended up becoming my best friend all through middle school and high school. He was even one of the groomsmen at my wedding. His name was Brandon. Brandon was also our high school student body president, and he was a great leader. He was a great leader because he approached every challenge, every difficulty with the same attitude and mindset. Now, for you see, when we were still kids, one day Brandon showed up carrying a unicycle. Now, I thought that was a bit odd. I even asked him, "Why do you have a unicycle? You don't even know how to ride it." And Brandon said something to me that day that influenced me for the rest of my life. He simply added 3 little letters at the end of my statement. He said, "I don't know how to write it yet." Those 3 simple letters have directly helped me achieve the awards and accolades that I've received as a teacher. I was Wyoming Theater Director of the Year in 2018. Last year, I was our district's Teacher of the Year. And last summer in Orlando, Florida, I was honored to be awarded the National Educator of the Year by the Jostens Company. And though I may be those things, I still fail. I fail all the time. I fail with relish because I know that when I fail, I learn. And when I learn, I improve. And I promise that if you try and fail and keep trying and keep failing and keep learning and improving, eventually you'll succeed. Now, due to the recent events with COVID-19, we've had to face many changes and challenges. Schools looked a bit different for most of us. Even events like this, we've had to make some changes so we could all meet virtually. But we can always find those happy little accidents. Like, have you ever seen what a Mountain Dew bottle looks like on a green screen? Well, now you know. Many having feared losing students in the transition from building learning to at-home schooling, they did away with failing grades. They only gave incompletes. But other schools even went a step further and they changed a fail to a not yet. Now, this may sound like a strange idea, or maybe it sounds like an awesome one. Or maybe you're even saying, why haven't schools done this sooner? Well, some schools have. In Chicago and Detroit, some of their schools have been using this for almost 10 years now. Now, in the past few years, you've probably heard the phrase growth mindset. Now, it's a nice phrase. You may even have posters about it in your school. Maybe you even watched a video about it or even heard another speaker talk about the difference between a jungle tiger versus a zoo tiger. Now, don't be confused with Tiger King. That's a completely different topic, which I'm glad to talk about later if you want. But what does growth mindset really mean? And how do you develop it if you don't really know what it is? In its simplest terms, it's taking the challenges that we face and often verbalize like this: I can't do this. I don't know how this works. It doesn't make sense. I don't get it, or I'm not good at this. And we add the word yet at the end of those sentences. That's it. That's growth mindset in its simplest form. I can't do this yet. This doesn't work yet. This doesn't make sense yet. I don't get it yet, or I'm not good at this yet. If the focus is on immediate success, it creates the fear of failure. That fear of failure often results in the need to cheat rather than studying. In fact, I had one student that came to class, got his desk ready, had his number 2 pencil, had his 20-ounce bottle of Coke, and he went to work. Now, the test must have been making him pretty thirsty because he was drinking that Coke quite a bit. And then I realized that he had actually peeled the label off of the Coke bottle, scanned it into his computer, photoshopped all of the ingredients out, and made a cheat sheet and glued it back onto the bottle. Now, if he had spent the same time that it took to make that label and used it to study, he would have been fine. But because of his previous experiences prior to coming to my class, they had created a fear of failure, and he would rather risk getting caught cheating than fail at a test. This taught me the value of not yet grading. Had the student known that he had not yet mastered the material, but he could continue to work on it and to do better, he would have had that opportunity. And he could afford then to work and to not fear failing. So by removing that failed grade and replacing it with not yet, students are able to operate with positive knowledge that they may not have mastered it right now, that they always have another chance to improve. They learn from their mistakes, and with better knowledge and skills, they can be more efficient. Now, we need to give ourselves that same kind of grace outside of the classroom. Well, what if it's on the field or the workplace or even in relationships? Are we critical of ourselves because we're not great at it right now? Or can we give ourselves some grace because we're not great at it yet? Now, those students who may have studied and they still perform poorly, their next instinct is to seek out somebody that did worse than them. Well, that's not much better than cheating. After all, we've all heard the phrase, misery loves company. Now, if you think about this concept of not yet, is it new? Of course not. There's great moments all throughout history that have changed the face of the globe because of not yet moments. Did Christopher Columbus know how to reach the New World in 1491? Not yet. Did NASA know how to put a man on the moon prior to Apollo 11? Not yet. And even our great president, Abraham Lincoln, a year before signing the Emancipation Proclamation, had a cabinet member state, "You can't free the slaves." And our president responded with, "Not yet." Even Sesame Street has numerous segments dedicated to the power of yet, because they understand the importance of teaching. Now, I'm not saying that simply having that mindset is enough. This isn't a flap your wings a little harder, little penguin, and maybe you'll fly kind of scenario. Sometimes our growth mindset means that we grow past what we initially thought we wanted. Maybe you want to be a pro football player, but that simply may not be a reality based on your size, speed, or strength. But your growth mindset could lead you to becoming the best JC football coach in the nation. Maybe you want to be a famous YouTuber, and your passion for creating art, you can end up becoming a scenic artist in Hollywood. There have been some very famous and successful individuals who allowed their growth mindset to take them past the career that they were currently in, like the famous carpenter, Harrison Ford, or the Wall Street computer tech, Jeff Bezos. Or how about the figure skater, Vera Wang? Or maybe some of you even know the law firm clerk, Ellen DeGeneres. Now, you may be thinking, what do I know about this? I've been recognized for outstanding teaching. I've been a teacher for a long time. So what do I know about growth mindset when it comes to a career change? Well, last year, was I a movie producer? Not yet. 2 years ago, was I Educator of the Year? Not yet. 3 years ago, was I Director of the Year? Not yet. 7 years ago, was I even a teacher? Not yet. 7 years is a long time. Think about it for a second. Where were you 7 years ago? Some of you may have just finished first grade. Some may have finished their first year of middle school. You might have been at home listening to the new Selena Gomez album. Or maybe you were watching Fast and Furious 6 or The Great Gatsby or Monsters University, or maybe even Iron Man 3. But I can tell you where I was 7 years ago. I can even tell you who I was 7 years ago. I wasn't an author. I wasn't a movie producer. I wasn't a speaker. I wasn't Teacher of the Year. I was a homeless pizza delivery driver. Now, you might be wondering, how did I end up there? Well, that's an entire other speech on its own. But basically, I can tell you that I left teaching because I lost sight of who I was. I listened to the vocal minority who wanted me to be someone else. They wanted me to be a different type of teacher, a different style of director, a fake version of myself, and I wasn't about to do that. You see, I would rather fail at being the truest version of myself than succeed at being someone I'm not. I lost my house, but not hope. I lost my job, but not joy. So when you fall down, you can either wipe the tears from your eyes or the sweat from off your brow, wallow or work, and only you can decide which one you're going to choose. So I became the best pizza delivery driver I could. I went back to school. I earned another degree, and I worked as hard as I could to find a better way to be a better teacher, in the hope that someday a principal would see the same value in me that I saw in myself. And I'll tell you, it's truly amazing what can happen when you surround yourself with people who are determined to see you succeed and rid yourself of those who are hoping to see you fail. I want you all to think of the best sandwich or hamburger or salad, if that's your thing, that you've ever had. Where was it? Where was this amazing meal? When was it? How old were you? What made it so good? Did you ever go back and get another one? If not, do you still want to? And did you ever tell anyone about it? Of course you did. When we partake of something so wonderful and delicious, we talk about it, we Yelp about it, we get out our phones and we Instagram it. Why? Because we want others to share in the awesomeness of what we enjoyed. So why don't we do the same thing about our successes? Well, because we're supposed to be humble. Why don't we do the same thing about other people's successes? Well, because we're prideful. Well, guess what? All collectively, we should celebrate each other's successes and joys. Now, there are three things in this life that most people are uncertain of: what others think of us, what the future holds, and how to pronounce Worcestershire sauce. Well, let me tell you the answers to these. Number one, what do others think of us? Well, it doesn't matter what they think of you, but it truly matters that you realize just how incredible you are. The greatest prison that people live in is the fear of what other people think. But as humans, we like being recognized. We like being congratulated. We like being noticed. It lets us know that we're seen, that we're heard, and that we're loved. You've probably all heard it said before that you should say hello and smile and wave as you walk past somebody. Well, they might smile and wave back, but a lot of times they don't. Or they do, and then as soon as they pass by, they've already forgotten about it. So instead, try this. Compliment someone on their shoes. No, seriously. Just say, nice shoes, or I like those shoes. Anyone can say hello, but not everyone takes time out of their day to notice and comment on someone's choice of footwear. Try it, and then see if they really smile. Our days are happier when we give people around us a piece of our heart rather than a piece of our mind. Now, if this is just out of your comfort zone, and you just don't want to highlight your accomplishments because you don't want to look like you're bragging or being conceited, I get it. It takes time to learn the difference between being confident and being cocky. But if you still need that reassurance that you're doing good things, then you hit me up on social media and I will be there for you. I will brag about your accomplishments so you don't have to. You got a new job? Awesome. You graduated high school? Right on. Heading to trade school to work on motorcycles? You rock. I will tell everyone the amazing things that you are doing and the amazing person you are because you are amazing. I will sing your praises. I will shout your accomplishments from the rooftops because not everyone will. With every success comes those who wish to see you fail. It might be joyous to dance in the rain. Sometimes you got to be prepared to walk through the mud. Number 2, what does the future hold? The future holds greatness. And it's yours for the taking if you just keep trying and defy your failures. Don't let them define you. Are you a straight A student? Not yet. Have you found your dream career? Not yet. Have you found a cure for cancer? Not yet. Have you helped end racism? Not yet. But I believe that your generation will be the ones to do just that. As my time with you this evening comes to an end, I hope in this year that you come to make mistakes. Because if you're making mistakes, then you're making new things, trying new things, learning, living, pushing yourself, changing the world. You're doing things you've never done before, and more importantly, you're doing something. Don't freeze. Don't stop. Don't worry that it isn't good enough or isn't perfect. Whatever it is, work, art, love, family, life, whatever it is you're afraid of doing, do it. Make your mistakes next week, next month, next year, and forever. Because you never truly fail. You just haven't gotten it perfect yet. Oh, and number 3, it's pronounced Worcestershire sauce. Thank you, and good night.